Welcome to Exam Sale. This script walks you through the Dell Associate Information Storage and Management exam syllabus so you know exactly what to study and why. This exam tests 6 domains with precise weights. Storage Networking Technologies 22%, Intelligent Storage Systems 18%, Data Protection 18%, Information Storage Infrastructure 15%, Data Center Environment 15%, and Security and Management 12%. You will face conceptual and scenario-based questions with varying difficulty, so focus your study time according to the percentages and estimated learning hours provided. I will summarize what you must learn in each domain and highlight key topics to master. Storage Networking Technologies carries 22% of the exam and is marked as hard with about 18 hours of study recommended. You need to understand fiber channel SAN architecture and components, common topologies like fabric and mesh, the FC protocol stack and addressing, fabric services and name server registration, and zoning types including WWN and port zoning. Also master N-port versus F-port connectivity, flow control mechanisms, and IP SAN concepts such as acing architecture, IQN and EUI naming, discovery and session establishment, plus FCOA requirements, converged network adapters, lossless Ethernet and how FC, acing and FCOA compare in real use cases. Intelligent Storage Systems is 18% of the exam, medium difficulty, and requires about 14 hours of study focused on modern array architectures and management. Learn front-end and back-end controller components, the role of cache for performance, write-through versus write-back cache policies, cache mirroring and vaulting, and LUN creation and management. You should also be able to compare block, file and object storage, explain unified storage benefits, and cover provisioning and tiering topics like thick versus thin provisioning, storage virtualization, RAID choices and dynamic storage tiering with cache and flash integration as well as deduplication and compression benefits. Data protection is also 18%, medium difficulty, and emphasizes backup, archive and replication strategies to ensure business continuity with an estimated 14 hours of study. Understand backup components and client-server architectures, full versus incremental versus cumulative backups, source versus target deduplication, and backup topologies including LAN-based, LAN-free and direct-to-disk, plus cloud-based backup models and data protection as a service and archiving fundamentals like content-addressed storage. For replication, be clear on local techniques such as snapshots and clones, copy on write versus redirect on write, synchronous and asynchronous replication, RPO and RTO trade-offs, 3-site topologies, continuous data protection, journaling, and hypervisor or host-based replication approaches. Information storage infrastructure accounts for 15%, is rated easy, and takes about 8 hours to cover the foundational concepts that drive modern data platforms. Study digital transformation and the role of data, the NIST characteristics of cloud computing, and differences among SaaS, PaaS and IaaS service models as well as public, private, hybrid and multi-cloud deployments. Also review big data characteristics like volume, velocity and variety, and the data requirements for AI, machine learning and IoT, plus the business shift from traditional IT consumption to modern infrastructure models. Data center environment is 15%, medium difficulty, with roughly 10 hours of study on physical and virtual stack components. Focus on physical compute elements such as CPU, RAM and I/O, hypervisor roles and VM components, and software-defined data center architecture with compute virtualization benefits and resource management. Also cover containerization and microservices, software-defined storage attributes, and connectivity technologies including NVMe and NVMe over Fabric so you can map performance and design choices to real data center requirements. Security and management is 12%, medium difficulty, and requires about 10 hours to master protecting storage assets and monitoring health. Learn the 3 pillars of security in storage with the CIA triad, storage security domains for management, control and data, RBAC and multi-factor authentication, encryption for data at rest and data in transit, and access controls like zoning and LUN masking along with concepts such as an air-gapped cyber recovery vault and GRC for management operations. Be prepared to describe monitoring parameters for configuration, performance and health. Understand alert types. Apply AI ops and predictive analytics. manage capacity and asset life cycles, and use infrastructure as code and reporting for compliance and auditing. That covers every domain and the key topics to prioritize for the Dell Associate Information Storage and Management exam. Build a study plan that follows the domain percentages, practice scenario questions, and spend focused time on the harder networking and protection topics. Good luck, study smart, and come back to Exam Sale for targeted revision and practice tips.